Hello guys, Splicer here. Now, I feel like Ghost Recon Wildlands is reaching a fork in the roads, and a lot of loyal customers and guys that have really got into the game have got to the point where they've completed the main part. They have gone around and collected 100% of the intelligence and the rest of that sort of stuff. Then obviously we were all hoping that the DLC Narco Road would have provided us more content to allow us to carry on playing the main game. Now moving on to my main point, obviously we're expecting PvP to arrive shortly after the launch of the game. However, it still hasn't reared its head and we've had a full DLC drop. Now Ubisoft have said that they are aware that there's a lot of excitement and hype around PvP and they can understand there's frustration that it hasn't been released yet. But they simply said it is still coming, but there are no dates on the release yet. Now it's great that it's still coming and that they're still developing it, which is good, because I know a lot of people are looking forward to it, and it's the one thing that a lot of people are holding on to the game for, because they're expecting PvP to be a good and great part of the game. Obviously they've only announced it with 4v4 tactical sort of competitive gameplay, which to me sounds like that could get quite competitive and boring fairly quickly, but maybe they'll bring in some more game modes and maybe the player classes and things will work out so you can sort of build your player up and feel like you've got something to work towards again. One thing I've suggested before, I know some people think this is maybe a bit too serious on the game, but if you guys have seen PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds out there, where it's pretty much a battle royale where it's all v all and it's the last player standing after everybody's been killed. I would love to see that game mode in PvP in Ghost Recon Wildlands. I know some people wouldn't like it, but even if they keep in 4v4 and then they bring in a battle royale mode and then 20 of you get dropped into a part of Bolivia and then yeah, battle royale, or even sort of 4 teams of 4 based battle royale, so it would be, I don't know, 5 teams of 4 against each other, last team standing wins, which I think would be awesome. Now this is why I think this is Ubisoft's last chance to hold on to the player base that they have at Ghost Recon Wildlands, because everybody is waiting on this PvP. If they mess this up like they did the Narco Road DLC, they're going to lose a lot of customers and a massive part of their player base is just going to disappear from the game. And it's such a shame because the core game is really, really good. It's got a lot of potential still. Even if you completed it 100%, they could quite easily just bring in extra content and give a little bit of life back to the game. They've tried to do that with the community challenges they brought in, which is good. It's good to see something running concurrently with the game and online, and it sort of brings in the community together to achieve an aim. I still think it's a bit dry, and to win a patch doesn't really seem worth it, and equally it's quite easy to do if you just sort of fast track between the places. You can get it done within about 20 minutes or so. But it's good to see that they're bringing in new content and more content for that player retention. Now I know a lot of you think that it doesn't necessarily need player retention. Why can't we just bring out games where you just bring it out, you play it through, and then you're done with the game? And which is true for a lot of people, that's great. But when people have brought season passes and they're expecting extra content to come out, obviously they're looking into the game for the long term. And equally they brought out this open world, this enormous map, where if they brought in a lot more, you could play it for a lot longer. If PvP is really good, people will keep coming back and building up their player and making it sort of worthwhile that they spent the money on the game and would be interested in spending more money on the game. So let's say the Fallen Ghost DLC, they might want to buy that to then get the new weapons so they can compete in PvP a bit better. Now one thing I think Ubisoft needs to do is they need to give back to the player base and the fans that brought the Narco Road DLC. I know some of you are fans, but based on the comments from the review that I did, a lot of you really, really aren't. And I know it's just a game, but when you're spending real money on this extra content, on this DLC which was promised to you, especially with the season pass holders, to be something part of the game, and it just didn't live up to what it was supposed to be. It wasn't in keeping with the main game, it was a complete separate entity to the main game, and it didn't really give you any new content apart from monster trucks and ridiculous skins for cars. Now I know it won't be easy to repay people, so for example if they just gave everybody the money back that paid for the DLC, obviously you've got season pass holders that wouldn't get that back, so again they would lose out. But I think they need to provide something more to gamers that have paid for content that it didn't live up to what they promised. And I know that people feel a bit sort of betrayed and feel like they've just lost their money and got nothing back as a reward. And this is what it ultimately boils down to. So people are starting to lose confidence and trust in Ubisoft as a game developer. And I know a lot of you have said in the comments you're not going to buy games from Ubisoft anymore, or you're not going to purchase anything extra from them so they lose out on money. Which is fine, and that's the impression they've put on people. But when you look at what they've given us, so they've given us a great core game. Yes, it was sort of overhyped in the beginning, but that's, again, almost what Ubisoft does. But then they brought in Season Passes, which they love, and that's great, because they promise us extra content. But then also, they brought in all of these microtransactions to, again, ask for more money. The driving mechanics was the biggest complaint of everybody out there, yet the DLC, the core around the DLC, was driving, which made absolutely no sense, and it clearly shows that they have not listened to the player base. When everybody's moaning that helicopters and the driving mechanics are wrong, why have they brought out a driving-based DLC without changing any mechanics? It's just unbelievable. But so if you base that on PvP that's come in, yeah, they've promised us a lot, and we're all expect it to be something. You can also expect it to be that they haven't listened to the fan base, and it's probably going to be a bit rubbish. But obviously we can all hope that it's not going to be. Well, I really wasn't expecting this to be a rant against Ubisoft, but I guess as soon as I get started I can see where the frustrations come from. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. If they really nail PvP, they're going to sort of reward players for the money that they've invested in this game and keep players coming back. But if they mess this up, even slightly, or delay it for too much longer, they're going to lose so much of their player base and confidence in their gaming development company, which is not good. Anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I'd like to see if you sort of agree with that, or if it's too late and you've already given up on Ubisoft, or what you think should be incorporated in PvP. I'd love to know other areas that it could develop or things you're expecting from it, so when it finally drops, we can all be happy with the content. Anyway, please subscribe to my channel, because I'll be bringing out a lot more videos about this. I'm also going to do a few more on Call of Duty and Battlefront 2 coming out soon. So, yeah, please subscribe, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.